Episode 1. Keep skills, connectors, and experts separate. Season 3, Episode 1. Keep skills, connectors, and experts separate. When you see a new capability, you may ask, can I just install a skill? Not necessarily. First, separate what these three things each handle. A skill is a concrete capability and workflow. If you want to handle a type of document or call a specific tool, start by looking at the skill. A connector brings an external service into the task. It answers whether you can access certain online material or call that service, so authorization scope matters. An expert is more like a role that brings domain methods to the work. Consider an expert when the problem needs a professional perspective. Bring in a team only when the task is complex enough to need division of labor. Do not use all three just to make the setup look advanced. First, say what is missing: a tool, external data, or domain method. The answer determines the choice. What is missing in your task right now? A tool, external data, or domain method? Leave your specific scenario in the comments. I will turn frequent questions into follow-up videos. Episode 2. 4 checks before you install a skill. Season 3, Episode 2. 4 checks before you install a skill. More skills are not always better. The more you install, the easier it is to forget which one touches files and which one calls external services. The task also becomes harder to troubleshoot. When you choose a skill for the first time, check 4 things: where it comes from, what it can do, what data or permissions it needs, and whether it fits this task. If you only want to organize a spreadsheet, there is no need to install a capability that sends messages or reads cloud data. Enough for the current problem is enough. After installing, do not try it on important files right away. Use a sample without sensitive information. See what it outputs, what it changes, and whether it takes extra actions. Move it into a real task only after that looks right. Review installed skills from time to time. Turn off anything you are not using. Let the current task carry only the capabilities it needs. That keeps the scope clean and makes problems easier to locate. When you install a skill for the first time, what is hardest to judge? Its source, its permissions, or what it will do? Leave your specific scenario in the comments. Episode 3. Repeat until stable before building a custom skill. Season 3, Episode 3. Repeat until stable before building a custom skill. Some work keeps asking you to explain the same things: where the input goes, how the steps run, and what format the result should use. After doing it several times, many people want to turn it into a custom skill. Slow down first. I look for 3 signals. Does it keep recurring? Are the rules reasonably stable? Can the result be checked? If you cannot explain why this time differs from last time, packaging it now will preserve the confusion too. Run the manual process until it is clear. Record the inputs, key decisions, and acceptance criteria. Once those pieces are stable, package the process as a reusable capability. When you call it later, still provide only the necessary material and still review the result. Customization earns its place by keeping a verified method. That way, you do not have to explain it from scratch next time. Which repeated piece of work are you unsure about turning into a custom skill? Leave your specific scenario in the comments. Episode 4. A connector is a permission chain. Season 3, Episode 4. A connector is a permission chain. The appeal of a connector is that you do not have to copy and paste replies. Documents, mail, meetings, and other external services can enter the same task. The other side of that convenience is access through your authorization scope. When reading, writing, or sending is involved, do not treat connected as permission to hand everything over. Before connecting, write 1 sentence about what this connection needs to solve. If you only need to look something up, do not open an editing scope at the same time. If you may change content or send it outside, check the target and the content once more. A smaller scope is easier to review. A connector is the bridge between an external service and a task. Draw the boundary small so you can tell who each step is acting for and what it is doing. When you connect a connector for the first time, which authorization scope is hardest to judge? Leave your specific scenario in the comments. Episode 5. Separate read, change, and send. Season 3, Episode 5. Separate read, change, and send when you authorize. No matter how long the permission notice is, do not look only for the Agree button. First, see what kind of action it is preparing to take for you. Check whether it will access, read or write, or send a message. These actions run under your identity and authorization scope. The connector name alone is not enough. For a quick check, sort the actions into read, change, and send. Read means accessing material. Change means writing or editing content. Send means sending a message outward. Then, check the specific scope. Match it to the current goal. If you only need to look something up, do not treat changing or sending as required. Before changing content or sending it outside, check the target and the content. If you cannot explain why an action is needed, stop and review it. When you read an authorization notice, which is hardest to judge, read, change, or send. Leave your specific scenario in the comments. Episode 6. Start small when testing a connector. Season 3, Episode 6. Start small when testing a connector. For a first connector test, do not hand over a task with a large impact. Choose something small, easy to check, and recoverable if it goes wrong. For example, read one piece of test content that you prepared, then confirm that the connector received the right thing. If you later want to test writing or sending, do not execute it yet. List the target, the content, and the expected result first. Review them by hand, then decide separately whether to authorize the next step. After the test, keep 3 human records: what it read, what it actually did, and where the result landed. In this read-only test, the return included a title, a unique marker, a verification phrase, and a location. Writing and saving were outside the task. A small test is more than a ritual. It tells you whether this connection belongs in formal work. When you test a connector for the first time, which step could make the task too big? Leave your specific scenario in the comments. Episode 7. Check the use case before reusing inspiration. Season 3, Episode 7. Check the use case before reusing inspiration. When you find an existing solution, the easiest idea is to apply it directly to your own task. Once you start, you may find that the materials, the target, and the result are all different. WorkBuddy's inspiration collection showcases selected, finished examples. You can open it for more and browse by scenario. It gives you a starting point, not a ready-made answer. When an example looks promising, check what problem it solves, which tools it uses, and what it produces. Continue only when all 3 are close to your task. Then decide whether to make your own version. The official description says this step pre-fills the prompt and loads related skills and experts. You can edit the details before deciding whether to generate. If you will use it again, save it. If you need long-term reuse, keep the method in your own workspace. That removes one setup step while the judgment still belongs to you. Have you seen a ready-made solution that was hard to judge? Leave your specific scenario in the comments. Episode 8. A knowledge base starts with source and scope. Season 3, Episode 8. A knowledge base starts with source and scope. A knowledge base is easy to treat as a bigger folder. Put every file in first and sort it out later. In practice, more material can make it harder to find the evidence you need right now. First, ask what question the material needs to answer. Are you checking a past solution, finding a data definition, or organizing existing documents? Different questions need different scopes. Before connecting 10-cent docs, check the authorization scope. The official documentation lists reading document content separately from editing and managing files. They are different actions. Keep the source with every piece of material. When an answer is wrong, you can return to the original and see what needs to change. The value of a knowledge base is making the evidence findable. It is not making the pile of files bigger. When you organize information, which step makes it hardest to find the evidence again? Leave your specific scenario in the comments. Episode 9. Retrieve, process, and preserve for next time. Season 3, Episode 9. Retrieve, process, and preserve for next time. When a piece of information is read and summarized, the result disappears into the next task if it stays only in this conversation. Next time, you have to start the search again. A more complete approach has 3 steps. Retrieve the right material, process it into the result this task needs, and preserve anything worth reusing in a clear place. Preserving it does not mean saving the whole conversation as is. Keep the conclusion, the source, the use case, and the update time. When editing or writing back is involved, check the permission and the destination first. Keep a temporary draft out of formal material, and do not let an unverified conclusion become new evidence. Being able to retrieve the material is only the beginning. Next time has a findable path when you can review it, explain it, and use it again. What kind of task result would you want to keep for next time? Leave your specific scenario in the comments.